Wait a minute, I can hear an alarm. It's off. I shall begin. Hello, and welcome to episode 515 of Prog. Today I'm talking about this one, Wind and Wuthering by Genesis. You might have heard of them. You might have heard of those guys. Of course, this is the one that gets the views. You see, you people, Genesis, and they come and they view it, and they don't watch the other videos. They just come for the big hitters, the Yeses and the Genesises, and the. Because this is kind of the anniversary year for this album. I know it was released in December 1976, and I was going to do it then, but then somebody actually mentioned it, and then when people mention it, then I can't do it, so I didn't do it. But I thought I'd do it now because it's the anniversary year, and this very year of the 2017. Mr. Stephen Hackett is touring with this. He will be touring with this album. He will be touring this album. So there you go. Now let's put this in the past. Now I've got that timeless air that I give to these videos now gone because I've mentioned something that's happening this year. So when you watch this and I'm long dead and civilization has collapsed, you are dated it. So anyway, this is the 8th studio album by Genesis. Yeah, and it follows hot on the heels of Trick of the Tail. Now you've got to remember, Trick of the Tail was released on the 2nd of February '76, and this was released in December. So they produced two albums very, 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 very close together. Very close together. And some might say it's like their last progressive gasp, because Hackett is, it's their last album full of that lyrical romanticism that you get with Hackett. That's what is real. I mean, because Genesis was still prog. Remember, they're still prog. Even Invisible Touch. Remember, very prog. Go and watch that review. Incredibly prog album, Invisible Touch. And so you have this, Wind and Wuthering, of course, takes its title from Wuthering Heights by the Bronte sister. Was it Emily? I always get mixed up. Emily Bronte. Start us off with 11th Earl of Mar. Oh yeah, I mean we get the great thing about Genesis is they write songs about Scottish Jacobites. Oh yeah, oh, top stuff here. You can play this one. Play this one to your girlfriends. This will get them moist in the gusset area. And so indeed, you have a song about about history and Scottish uprisings, and I don't know what the fuck Mike Rutherford was on, but whatever it was, it must have been strong enough to think this was a good idea for a song. No, I mean if you ignore the lyrics, the music's quite good fun, and it's a very good. It's actually quite a good opener for an album. It's a good album opener. But really, what the and One for the Vine doesn't get any. This is Tony Banks's contribution. Doesn't get any better. It's another extended song, 9 minutes, nearly 10 minutes long, and it's about some sort of Jesus figure, some sort of messianic. Big word. I was worried it weren't going to come out properly. Messianic figure, and again another uprising, another rebellion. So there's two songs about rebellion back to back. A bit odd that. but again, because it's Tony Banks, there's a kind of sci-fi spin on it, and but I like the duck quack. The duck quack makes it for me, especially when they do it live. I mean, there was a live version on is it Three Sides Live, which I always loved that version. For some reason, I'm not a big fan of live versions of songs, but I think that one really works. You know, I really did enjoy the live version of it. But yeah, it's a good fun song. What I like about these songs is they're a bit lighter, they're a bit fluffier, they're a bit, you know, not like the stuff we had on A Trick of the Town, which again I felt they were, I don't know, maybe trying a bit too hard. Here you can feel they've relaxed a bit. You know, they're a bit more relaxed and bit more fun. Your Own Special Way. Now this one you can play to your girlfriend. This is prog rock soft, and it's a love song again by Rutherford. Goes on a bit, 6 minutes 15. If they'd have halved it, it could have been. I mean, I think they did release it as a single, so they probably would have edited it down. But even for the album, I think it just does go on a bit. It's a bit soppy. It's a bit soppy, isn't it? But it's nice after 11th Earl of Mile, One for the Vine. It's nice to have a bit of soppiness, but too much soppiness. Edit it back. You don't need 6 minutes 15 of soppiness. And this is followed up the rear by What Gorilla by Phil Collins. Phil Collins is doing his, I don't know, weather report type thing. Kind of jazzy. I quite like it. The thing I don't like about it is probably the title of it, because I don't know. I've never really understood what gorilla. What? It probably means something to someone somewhere, but yeah, you see an indication of what Phil Collins was listening to and what he was being inspired by, you know, and what was to come with Brand X. Very, very Brand X, you know, and for Genesis, it's out there. It's Genesis almost going into jazz territory, and that is, I mean, they are the least jazz band there is in the prog, you know, in the prog sphere. Even, yes, flouted with jazz on Relayer, King Crimson, that's a no-brainer, Van der Graaf, you know. And this is them almost touching the jazz. Scary stuff, but good fun. Because I'm listening to it on the vinyl, because I'm going to flip the side over. And we have All in a Mouse's Night. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's stupid. I know it's about a mouse and there's a cat, and it's meant to be kind of like, I don't know, Looney Tunes, I guess, that kind of thing. But I abhor it. I think it is an absolute piece of crap. It's, you know, Genesis don't have too many weak songs, and the thing is, the music isn't weak. I don't know. See, I'm not sure what I don't like about it. I'm not sure if it's the lyrics or the music, or it's probably because the music and lyrics just don't fit. You know, there's another song in there, and it ain't about a bleeding mouse, I tell you. But again, it's written by Tony Banks, so it has to go on the album, doesn't it? But personally, I would have left it off. But anyway, I'll come back to it later on. Then we go into probably the most magnificent work, because there's a really good run of songs on this B-side, and this is a shame why All the Mouse's Night is there, because if it wasn't there, the B-side would be pretty damn perfect. I think you'll all agree with me. Blood on the Rooftops, which is just fantastic. It's Hackett and Phil Collins. Why they didn't do more stuff together, you know, for Absent Friends and stuff like this. Perfect. They should have. What we need is a Hackett and Collins album. That's what we need. It's never going to happen, but wouldn't it have been good? Wouldn't it have been good? A Hackett and Collins album. I think they would have evened each other up. And so again, it's almost a satire about the news. And the more you listen to it, the more you realise that as more things change, the more they stay the same, and that's what you get with Blood on the Rooftops. It's very, very. If you watch what's happening in the news these days, it's Blood on the Rooftops, because even as a kid, I remembered everybody, you know, one side killing another side. Nothing's changed, and it'll always be, because as a race, we're idiots. Yeah, we don't deserve to be here, because all we want to do is kill each other, and you know, that's stupid. but it's a great song. And when Hackett's done it with his, when he gets his old drummer fella to sing, here's the bowler hat on. When he does it, he does a really good version of it in there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that again. So anyway, then we go into Unquiet Slumbers for the Sleepers in That Quiet Earth. I'm just going to include them together because really they are one track. I don't know why they bloody split them. It was because of the Hackett wanted more of his songs on the album, so for some reason they split it, when really it's all the same bleeding song, isn't it, really? Starts off with, again, you can hear it's Hackett, because if you listen to Please Don't Touch and the stuff he did, Land of a Thousand Autumns, and you can hear his fingers all over it. It's very atmospheric. And again, Genesis doing atmosphere. Genesis don't do atmosphere, do they really? You think about it, they don't do, tone pieces like that. And so it was very different. I think it's very different for them. And again, it's a great shame that we didn't get more of it. 2 minutes 27. I think it could have, again, extended it, dumped all in the Mouse's night, and of course it goes into That Quiet Earth. So good that the band, still rely on it and play on it, as part of their medley, when they've used it in their medleys regularly. And of course it's just an epic thing, and Hackett's guitar on it is wonderful, and again the mood shifts from the guitar solos to the keyboard parts, and that it's pretty damn perfect. It is, and this is why I prefer this album over Trick of the Tail, because the musicianship is just, I don't know, they're in the zone, they're in the zone there, and it leads into Afterglow. Again, it's a song for me which, because it's always played, there's a bit of a roundabout. Yes, always play roundabout. Well, Afterglow is the thing that Genesis do, and there's a little bit of familiarity breeds contempt there for me, and I just find it a bit, oh god, not again. It was nice when I first heard it. It's very pleasant, and again, you got that chiming riff, which the riff almost echoes back to, I don't know, it always reminds me of I Know What I Like, I don't know why, it doesn't, it shouldn't really, but it's that ding, 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 ding. It's just kind of a similar chimey guitar riff. But yeah, very, very pleasant. Phil Collins makes it his own, especially when he does it live. You can see he's really pushing his voice, and it's his voice really coming to the fore there. And so, again, it's a good ending to an album. They had a good opening and a good ending, so it's really cool. Now, what we'll go on to say is, again, this was Hackett's finale with the band, but they released Spot the Pigeon EP. I'm going to quickly talk about that now, which is a great shame because there's some excellent stuff on that. Maybe I should do it separately, I don't know. I don't know what I should do, but we'll do it here. Features 3 tracks. Match of the Day, which is an hilarious little thing about football and what football was like before money got involved, and always like that. Always loved that track and the humour in it, and again Phil Collins really makes it his own, brings a lot of character to the track. Pigeons, I don't know, again it's another ones where the lyrics and the music kind of battle each other out. They don't quite gel for me, but it's an amusing little song. But the real standout track is Inside and Out. Now just imagine if Inside and Out had been on Wind and Wuthering, it could have fit. Again, All in the Mouse's Night, I'm thinking dump that and put Inside and Out in there. It is just again another epic piece of music. It's got a story, false rape claim. That's pretty heavy stuff for a Genesis song. Pretty heavy stuff for a progressive rock song. This is an area that bands don't tend to go into, but they managed to pull it off. And there's a real lyricism and a romanticism in it, about freedom and time passing. And then you get that last section, and one of the most epic Steve Hackett guitar bits ever, ding, ding, ding. When he does that run on the guitar, it's just, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up just thinking about it now. It always makes me excited, and I'm hoping that they're going to be playing that when he plays the London Palladium. So yeah, that I'm looking forward to. And again, I wish that would have been on Wind and Wuthering, and because and this is what's annoying, because Inside and Out is such a I'm going to use it, fucking strong track. It is such a strong track, and it's buried on an EP that probably not everybody's heard, and that's well, I'm sure the real diehards have heard it, but if you haven't heard it, seek it out. Go on the YouTube. You have my permission to go on the YouTube and listen to Inside and Out. I think there's even I think once I did hear a bootleg of, I think it might have been when they played Earl's Court, and that was pretty spot on too, unless I imagined it. Sometimes I do make factual inaccurate statements because my mind isn't what it used to be, and I get things a little bit jumbled up, so please feel free to correct me in the comments. The comments section is completely ruined, by the way. I've got to do a video about that. So, because if you think I'm ignoring you, it's not me, it's the comments section. It's just completely... so anyway, I've completely deviated off the path of Wind and Wuthering and gone into the Spot the Pigeon EP. Again, Spot the Pigeon. I love that. Because what's that a reference to? In the UK, we had something called Spot the Ball, where they print a picture of a football scene. It's usually a goal, somebody's shooting at the goal, and the goal is jumping up and everyone's trying to head it, or there's a guy, and you'd have to mark a cross where you think the ball was. Now, the very centre of your cross had to hit the very centre of where the ball was, and if you got that, you won a cash prize. As you can imagine, it's almost impossible to win. Impossible. But that's why it's called Spot the Pigeon. So instead of Spot the Ball, Spot the Pigeon, they bring a reference to the other song in. So that's a clever little reference to an English thing that many of you may not be familiar with. But again, that always makes me chuckle when I think of that. Instead of spotting the ball, we have to put a cross where the pigeon might have been. And send your entry off to Genesis and win a prize. Who knows? So anyway, in terms of a rating, again, I have issues with tracks like Your Own Special Way being a little bit too long. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like 11th Earl of Mile and One for the Vine, but seriously, sometimes I wonder, again, because Rutherford and Banks are kind of off the leash, sometimes their lyrics are can be a bit obscure to the point of, head scratching. And I guess some people like that. Sometimes that mystery is kind of cool for people, but I find it a little bit. Sometimes I like it when lyrics are a little bit more grounded. So, Iron Special Way is a little bit too long. All in the Mouse's Night it shouldn't be on there. Tonally, it just feels wrong. But I love that end section from Blood on the Rooftops to Afterglow. It is almost a perfect run of songs, and it's just a real shame that Hackett threw in the towel. But boy, he went out on a high one, didn't he? Went out on a high note, especially with the Spot the Pigeon EP. In terms of rating, I'm going to have to give this a 4 gorillas out of 5. That's 4 gorillas out of 5, and it's just one knocked off for All in the Mouse's Night, really. Could have been a 5, but I've got to be tough. I like it a lot. It's one of my favourites. But I think I like Spot the Pigeon EP even more, purely for Inside and Out. So Spot the Pigeon EP gets 5 pigeons out of 5. 5 pigeons out of 5. Oh yeah, because it's short, sweet, and to the point. And just for that Steve Hackett guitar run on Inside and Out, like I say, it still makes me shiver and shake when I think about it to this day. So right, hope you've enjoyed that. That's your Genesis review for the year. I've been Darren Locke, and I've been talking about Wind and Wuthering by Genesis, their 8th studio album. And like I said, this is the anniversary year for it. So yeah, it'll be the 40th anniversary year, just to put it into perspective. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget there's the Patreon, where you can give me a little bit of money, keep the good train prog review and music go round. Where happened to that? Keep that one running. Boop, boop. And don't forget, there's also music.darrenlock.com. You can go there and listen to loads of boring crap I've recorded over the years. And social media, there's the Facebook, there's the Twitters, Google Plus. Fuck knows what that's about. Nobody uses it. But more importantly, prog on.